Hello everyone and welcome back to another Essential Album video. We're now on week 17 and this week we're taking a look at Forever Your Girl by Paula Abdul. First released June 13th, 1988. Some notable tracks on this album include Straight Up, Opposites Attract, State of Attraction, and Cold Hearted. I actually own this album here on vinyl. I want to say I picked this up in like 2013 or so. From what I remember, I picked it up on Discogs and wasn't too expensive. It was like wasn't $dollars. Don't know what it would cost now necessarily because vinyl has kind of gone up in price with like other like factors and things like that, becoming people wanting it more, I guess. I think when I first started collecting in 2011, the resurgence hadn't really fully caught on yet, and now it has. So I think even this would be a little bit. I do enjoy this album. It's a pretty good pop album, and it is Paula Abdul's debut. There's this one, her follow-up called Style, and I think over here is from like 1995. I feel that Forever Your Girl though is her strongest album. I actually listened to this Forever Your Girl recently, and then also getting ready for this video to Spellbound again. I haven't listened to that for a while, but I think Spellbound is decent, but this is just a better album. Got my notes here. Go through those notes and then get to the track list and all that as well. Let me just pop the notes open here. Alright, so Forever Your Girl, like we said earlier, first released June 13th, 1988. Prior to starting her singing career, she was a choreographer, I think, like working with like George Michael, the LA Lakers, and so on. And then took the money she got from doing like all that choreography, saved it to record a demo, which then got her signed to Virgin Records. And I think I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, but Jeff Ayeroff, Ayeroff, I believe, was the one that signed her. And this is going to sound kind of like I think like she had like the look, she had the dancing ability, but apparently did not have the vocal ability, at least at first. So they had to go through a bunch of vocal training to get her ready to do a full length album. Like probably like the demo had was good enough to get her signed, and then they're like, well, her vocal ability isn't great, but we can work on that. We can get that like ironed out. We see here there's a quote I want to bring up from Jeff Ayeroff about getting her, like, let's see, there we go. Yeah, basically just said that she wasn't quite ready for the singing. So let's see here where this quote is. It's a quote. She said, "I can." So quoting, he's a quote of her being quoted. So he said, "Quote." She said, "I can sing. You know, I want to do an album." It says, "Paula's in our industry. Here's someone with a personality, and she's gorgeous, and she can dance. If she can sing, she can be a star." So we went into the studio and cut a demo record, and she could sing. And so then they basically just got her up to speed with the vocal ability. I think the record was produced for like $72,000 like overall, and it ended up going like 7 times platinum or something like that. So it did well. Let's see here. The interesting thing with this album is that apparently it took 64 weeks to hit #1, and apparently that is the longest time a record has been on the charts before actually hitting #1. I feel a lot of that is due to it being probably a debut album from so basically a newcomer, essentially, in the music industry. Some people in the 80s that could probably debut at #1 pretty easily would be like Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston or Madonna, bands like that. But I can imagine it being harder for just somebody who's literally just starting out and only has a debut album. Obviously, this is before like social media and things like that and stuff, like wouldn't necessarily go viral or anything like that. So, but the fact that it was on the charts for 64 weeks before it hit #1 just shows that it had a more organic kind of like build up to eventually hitting number one. I feel now there's like a lot of like stuff that goes viral, and you have like obviously streaming and things like that that help out quite a lot. There's a good amount of singles released off this album, including Knocked Out, The Way That You Love Me, Straight Up, Forever Your Girl, Cold Hearted, and Opposites Attract. It's interesting that Opposites Attract was actually I believe, the final single off this album, and that got released in single form in 1989, and I feel that's one of the stronger songs on the album. It definitely has an iconic music video, along with Straight Up, that has a really great music video as well. And her dancing is like definitely on point in those videos because she came from that choreography background and brought that into obviously like her performances and things like that. The album eventually won 3 MTV or Video Music Awards, all for Straight Up. They won for Best Female Video, Best Dance Video, and Best Choreography. Choreography shouldn't be a surprise, but her career for like actually like singing got kind of short, and I believe a lot of my research points back to a plane landing, or what she calls a plane crash, that had a bunch of like a neck injury. Let me actually just bring up. There's a quote from a different article about that. So in 1992, I think it would have been for the Spellbound tour. She describes it as a plane crash, and her quote is, quote, "I had 4 plates and 14 cervical spinal surgeries. It all happened, and then this kind of so basically, I think that kind of really just like sidelined her like career, like kind of like dead in its tracks. Because it would definitely make the dancing harder, and then like dancing and touring essentially. So I don't know of any band or artist really like that would be able to just not tour. Like I can think of maybe like Taylor Swift could probably just never tour again and still be fine. Like, but like I believe touring is where these bands make a lot of their money after the record labels, like take their cut and all that kind of stuff. They don't get a lot from streaming. I think they get like pennies on the dollar basically. So touring makes up a lot of that. And if you're getting a somewhat severe neck injury, which is going to impact your dancing ability, you're probably, like I said, that kind of just made it so she wasn't able to really tour anymore. I think she's done a few like collaborations like here and there, but basically her career, like her final studio album, was released in 1995. She still went on to have a career with was it American Idol, stuff like that. I never really watched any of that, but so that kind of just cut it short. But we're going to now jump into our track list here, or not our track list, our reviews. And this one I think has slightly better reviews than her other 2 albums. Her other 2 albums have kind of average reviews. Most of these are a little bit average as well, but AllMusic has it at a 4 out of 5, while the Encyclopedia of Popular Music has it at a 3 out of 5. Let's see, number 1 gave it looks like a 3.5 out of 5, and a 3 out of 5 from the Rolling Stone album guide. Her other albums kind of fall in line with that, and they're a little bit worse reviewed than this one. But into our track list. Album is not all that long. It comes in about 44 minutes and 22 seconds with 10 tracks. Track 1 is The Way That You Love Me. Track 2 is Knocked Out. That's a great one as well. Track 3 is Opposites Attract. Might be my favorite track on the album. That and I think that, Knocked Out, and Straight Up are probably my 3 favorites. So track 3 is Opposites Attract. Track 4 is State of Attraction. Track 5 is I Need You. Track 6 is our title track for Forever Your Girl. Track 7 is Straight Up. That's probably her most well-known song. Either that or Opposites Attract. You can probably go with either one. But yeah, track 7 is Straight Up. Track 8 is Next to You. Track 9 is Cold Hearted. And track 10 is One or the Other. So again, 10 tracks at 44 minutes and 22 seconds. I think overall it's just a pretty solid pop album. There's definitely better pop albums out there, but it's kind of one of the albums I like. I don't listen to it incredibly often. I listened to it again this year, not too long ago, to kind of get ready for this video, because I knew I was going to eventually cover it, because I think I was actually planning on covering this in not last year's series, but the previous one, and then just kind of ran out of not ran out of time, but had a bunch of other albums on the list that ended up like taking precedence over this one. So I'm getting to it with here, but it was at least planned at one point to be part of that other series. But overall, I think it's a very good debut album. It would have been interesting to see like what her career would have been like had she not, like had that neck and spine injury. If we would have gotten, like more albums, more tours, and things like that. But like I said, basically from 1988 to 1995 is the bulk of her career as as a singer mostly. And then she's showed up on like other like projects here and there, but it's pretty sparse as far as I can tell. But that is going to do it for this video. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back again in a week from now with a whole new album. No idea what that's going to be just yet, but we'll be back in a week with that. So thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.